is the only room in America where I'm going to get that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. What a beautiful room. I love a room full of handsome gay men. That is my world, or also known as my college dorm room. But seriously, this is really my demographic, both sexually and emotionally, and I can be very easily reached via my publicist, Michael Cohen, who is also a handsome gay man who I chose largely for that reason, because I have a type, but that type doesn't have me, so thank you. And yeah, it's just an amazing thing to be in a room with so many advocates and allies, and I feel extremely blessed. And I actually need to move past this part because I was going to make a mention of my goddaughter, but she actually doesn't want it. It was too humiliating. I am both excited. It's not been the same. She has galvanized me politically. She has motivated me personally. She has taught me more just through the way that she lives in the world than 18 years of private education ever did. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, for that incredible waste of funds. Her poise, grace, and rage all braid together to make the ideal freedom fighter, a woman who will be wasting her talents if she doesn't both direct a Best Picture nominee and run for office. I feel her slogan kind of writes itself. If I were her campaign manager, I would make big signs that said, "Get inside the real America." But seriously, it was a grower, not a shower. But seriously, America understands her purpose, and she makes everyone who comes into contact with her understand their own. I just wish that she would understand that part of her purpose is to play a crack-addicted porn star in an art house film being directed by me and my good friend James Franco, but her agents will not seem to call me back, which I think is rude. America has a passion for equality like few others in history, a passion for LGBTQ rights, for women's rights, for immigrants' rights, for the rights of everyone she feels is not being accurately represented by our system. And she knows on a bone-deep level that all our struggles are interlinking and that I don't rise if you don't rise. And she lives by that principle every single day. She never wavers, she never falters. She's also a triathlete, which is actually just rude and showy, and I try to mostly ignore it. But it's hard because she's always texting me like, "Oh, I have this triathlon, I can't hang out," and it's like, go fuck yourself. America is not without fault. I know I'm describing the ideal woman, but she is terrible at pretending to have a good time. And she hates babies and old people, but who doesn't? My heart swelled with pride to join her on stage at the 2016 Democratic National Convention, where she boldly spoke out for equality while I tried not to pick my frontal wedgie. Before America and I headed on stage, she took my hands in hers and she said, "Once we're out there, it's not about us anymore. We are vessels for the voices that are not heard, and that's our whole job." She used her platform again at the historic Women's March in Washington, D.C. in January. With tens of thousands of women by her side, including so many of you here in this room tonight, she spoke out against hatred, against bigotry, against inequality. She was also wearing an incredibly cute coat, but we try not to
under one big umbrella, and they don't see a person.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Lena, first of all, you are my inspiration. You are nourishment for my soul on a daily basis. You changed the game for women in television. By simply coming out to the world as the brilliantly funny, fiercely intelligent, perfectly flawed goddess of a human being that you are. As a writer, actress, director, activist, book author, podcast host, publisher, and triathlons are annoying, please. You shine your dazzling light into this world, and you challenge the rest of us to find our courage, to live in our truth. And I have never met another artist more eager to lift up the voices of her sisterhood. I would have been content to admire you from afar and to gaze longingly at your face on my vision board for the rest of our lives. So to call you sister, mentor, and friend, to receive this award from you tonight is a profound honor for me. Thank you for who you choose to be in the world. I love you. I want to thank all my friends who are in the audience here supporting me tonight. first and foremost, my husband. The kind of white cisgender male we need more of. My team of representatives who encourage me to be who I am in the world and never once try and stop me from using my voice. To some of my Superstore cast that's here tonight, and my NBC family, Bob Greenblatt and Chip Sullivan. Thank you for standing with HRC and for what is right and what is good. And thank you from the bottom of my heart, truly, for supporting our wonderful show, Superstore, a show that celebrates the value and humor in the lives of Black, brown, Asian, and white people, undocumented people, gay people, disabled people, born-again Christian people, and struggling teen mother people. We know that representation matters. We know this, not just in the media, but in our schools, in our hospitals, in our boardrooms, in our halls of power. We know that it makes all the difference to see ourselves reflected by culture with dignity, with humor, with compassion. It is how most of us learn what is possible for us, what our place in the world is. And too often, we have to spend so many years unlearning what culture has taught us about who we are or ought to be. But it doesn't have to be that way. We can change that. Every single one of us. We can leave the next generation with a better reflection of their innate worth and their inherent power simply by claiming and living in our own power. I didn't grow up seeing a lot of examples of short, brown, chubby, poor daughters of immigrant parents grow up to be successful actresses and loud activists. I had to use my imagination most of the time. But I was extremely fortunate to come across friends, mentors, and teachers who encouraged me to use my talent and my voice. One of those teachers is in the room with us tonight. My high school drama teacher, Sue Freitag. In my senior year of high school, when I struggled with feelings of depression and isolation, she created a safe space for me. I will never forget the first time she invited me to eat my cold pad thai with her in the drama theater room. It was the first time that entire year I felt like I was going to make it through high school. As a member of the LGBTQ community, Ms. Freitag has extended that safe space to countless students and faculty members. She has opened up a dialogue about equality, and she has transformed her campus into a safe one for all of her students and colleagues. I am proud to know her, and I am grateful for the role she played in helping me find my voice. She is the kind of activist we should be supporting and resourcing. Imagine if all of our children and students had a Ms. Freitag on campus and in the classroom. Using my voice as an activist and an advocate is really hard. Not every day. You know, some days I wake up and it feels like something much bigger than myself is compelling me and my beautiful, loud mouth toward action, as if nothing in my power could stop me from doing the work of speaking up and showing up for what I know is right. But some days, it's really hard. Some days I feel tired and inadequate and incapable of making a dent in the world's increasingly numerous and devastating ills. There are days where I'd rather crawl under my bed with a box of Captain Crunch and all 6 seasons of Dawson's Creek. And those are the kinds of days that I am most grateful and most in need of you, my community. You remind me that I am not in this alone, that none of us are alone in this fight. I emerge from those days with the help of my wonderful husband, Ryan, who reminds me that I'm strong and able and that we must keep pushing forward together. I get by with a little help from my friends who make me take a nap and then gently nudge me back into the game. I coax myself back into the fight with friends like Lena, who are also engaged in it and willing to speak openly and honestly about the bad days. I lean heavily on a community that acknowledges it isn't easy to maintain hope and optimism in the face of setbacks, losses, backlash. It's difficult to persist in light of attacks on our rights, in light of attacks on our community's physical safety, and in light of attacks on our spiritual well-being. And I find it necessary that we acknowledge and honor what this moment in history is actually demanding of us, what we must demand of ourselves. We are all being called to rise up to a level of consciousness and a level of action that we never imagined we would be called to. We are being called not only to resist dangerous ideals and dangerous people, but to offer alternatives. We are being called to stand together, to fight together, breathe together, rejuvenate together, and to nurture and to protect one another. We are called as allies in the resistance, but also allies in our sustenance. We are being called to use our creativity, our platforms, our resources to do the work, and also to lift up the good work that is already being done by organizations like HRC. Thank you to the Human Rights Campaign for this distinction. It's truly wonderful to be recognized as an ally to this critical organization. But I must confess that anything I've ever done on behalf of the LGBTQ community, I did in service to myself. Anything I ever did for the rights of this community, I did because I believe with every fiber of my being that my liberation is bound up in the liberation of my LGBTQ brothers and sisters. And in the liberation of my Black brothers and sisters, and in the liberation of immigrants and refugees and Muslims and Sikhs and women all over the world, and the incarcerated and the criminalized and the uneducated and the poor and the hungry and. In moment, this moment of history, more than ever before, I am willing to bet that we will claim our humanity and our equality together or not at all. This value is one I know is ingrained in the DNA of the Human Rights Campaign. The LGBTQ community lives and suffers inequity within every race, every religion, and every nationality, as Chad said. So I thank you, HRC and Chad, for being an ally to me and to all of our communities in this fight for equality. I know you're not going anywhere, and I'm sure as hell not going anywhere, so let's do this.
I just want to say, I really can't wait for the day when I can cast my vote for America Ferrera. Truly, I truly mean that. So incredible to watch those brilliant women speak. Now, I am so pleased to be here tonight to honor a human being named Katherine Hudson. You probably know her as Katy Perry. I have been lucky enough to be in her bright orbit for 11 years as her friend. I can attest that her talent, commitment, curiosity, strength, and overwhelming depth of empathy are not only the driving forces that have skyrocketed her to the ever-evolving success that renders her a household name, but also an ally and an activist. Since 2008, Katy has taken the world by storm. She is one of the best-selling musical artists of all time, having sold 100 million records worldwide. She's the only woman in history to have 5 #1 singles on one album. The only other artist to have ever achieved this feat, by the way, is Michael Jackson. So just let that sit there. Her work moves us consistently, from her powerful anthems to the infectious tunes that we have all been caught shamelessly belting out in our cars, showers, and various karaoke bars. I'm not talking about myself. Katy has put her heart into the very soundtrack of our lives. Tonight, we are here to honor her for her voice, not just as a master of her craft, but for her long-standing dedication to human rights. Katy was a tireless campaigner for equality champion Hillary Clinton on the 2016 campaign trail, and has also worked with and supported countless organizations such as the Trevor Project, Planned Parenthood, the It Gets Better Project, UNICEF, and the Elton John AIDS Foundation and AMFAR, just to name a few. Katy finds a way to act as an ally virtually every single time she performs or speaks publicly. As her friend and her fan, I have watched her grow from being a girl with a dream to a leader with a purpose. She is constantly pushing boundaries and opening the minds of youth and the youth adjacent to the struggles and brave work of various marginalized communities worldwide. She has truly dedicated her life to offering up her strong shoulders as a platform for others to stand on by consistently asking the right question. How can I help? I am so proud to say that tonight, the Human Rights Campaign is honoring Katherine Hudson with the National Equality Award. This is their highest honor given to an ally who makes extraordinary contributions to the LGBTQ community. Please join me in congratulating Katy Perry.
When it comes to being provocative, Katy Perry
So, thank you guys. So a little backstory. Shannon Woodward, one of my best friends, a lot of my best friends are here tonight because I love them and I'm obsessed with them and I'm loyal. And they've taught me pretty much everything I know. But Shannon, actually, I used to sleep on her couch. And I was couch surfing on her couch, and I used to eat her frozen chicken tenders from Trader Joe's. They were so good. Here's the thing about that woman. We've kind of like raised each other. I'll get into it in a second, but basically, one time I said, oh, I'm not a feminist because, I don't grow hair underneath my arms and stuff like that, because I really didn't understand what that meant. And she lovingly pulled me aside as the strong woman she is and great friend, and those are great friends. And she goes, hey, this is what the word feminist means. And I was like, what? This whole time? I'm a feminist. So I love her so very much, and I love all my friends that teach me everything that I've learned today. So thank you so much for this incredible, humbling award. I gotta say, there's no other community that has done more to shape who I am today, and there is no other community that I believe in more than you. This community here tonight has achieved more progress toward a more perfect union in a short amount of time as any group in our history. So I stand with you, and I know that we stand together against discrimination, whether it be in the LGBTQ community, or our Latino brothers and sisters, or the millions of Muslims in this country. I'm just a singer-songwriter, honestly. I speak my truths and I paint my fantasies into these little bite-sized pop songs. For instance, I kissed a girl and I liked it. Truth be told, I did more than that. And hold up. But B, how was I going to reconcile that with a gospel-singing girl raised in youth groups that were pro-conversion camps? What I did know is that I was curious. And even then, I knew sexuality wasn't as black and white as this dress. And honestly, I haven't always gotten it right. But in 2008, when that song came out, I knew that I started a conversation that a lot of the world seemed curious enough to sing along to. So, let's take a trip down memory lane for 1 second. My first words were Mama and Dada, God and Satan. Right and wrong were taught to me on felt boards, and of course through the glamorous Jan Kraus, crying diamond teardrops every night on that Vaseline TBN television screen. Make some noise if you know who I'm talking about. All right. Yay! When I was growing up, homosexuality was synonymous with the word abomination and hell, a place of gnashing of teeth, continuous burning of skin, and probably Mike Pence's ultimate guest list for a barbecue. No way. I wanted the pearly gates and the unlimited froyo toppings. So, most of my unconscious adolescence, I prayed the gay away at my Jesus camps. But then, in the middle of it all, in a twist of events, I found my gift. And my gift introduced me to people outside my bubble. And my bubble started to burst. These people were nothing like I had been taught to fear. They were the most free, strong, kind, and inclusive people I have ever met. They stimulated my mind, and they filled my heart with joy, and they freaking danced all the while doing it. These people are actually magic, and they are magic because they are living their truth. Oh my goddess, what a revelation, and not the last chapter of the Bible. Suffice to say, it's been a long road for me, and I'm sure a long road for many of you out there. I know it doesn't always feel safe to live out who you are. But here's the thing, though, I would have not chosen a different road. Priceless lessons have been learned. The path of discovery has made me, has tested me, and forever changed me. You don't get to choose your family, but you can choose your tribe. Many of the people I admire and trust and work with belong to the LGBTQ community. And without them, I'd be half of the person I am today. My life is rich in every capacity because of them. They are trusted allies that provide a safe space to fall, to not know it all, and to make mistakes. These are the people I hold dear. See, I hope I stand here as real evidence for all that no matter where you came from, it's about where you are going, and that real change, real evolution, and real perception shift can happen if we open our minds and soften our hearts. People can change. Believe me, it would have been easier just to stay the whipped cream, tit-spraying, poppy light, fluffy fun anthems by the way of animal totem singing girl who was basically somewhat neutral in a stance, and just that more hugs could save the world. No way. No longer can I sit in silence. I have to stand for what I know is true, and that is equality and justice for all, period. That's why the HRC is so important, and I am so grateful for them being on the front lines every day, from civil union legislation to repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell, to getting rid of DOMA at the Supreme Court, which paved the way for marriage equality across the country, and continuing to fight for trans equality amongst all things. I don't have to tell you that we have a lot more to do. We have to create a safe space for us to ask questions of ourselves and others and to keep the conversation going. Because the loudest voice in the room or on your TV set isn't always right. But that little voice inside of you pushing you to discover who you are is a trusted friend. None of us have the answers, or all of them at least. But it's time to lead with empathy and grace and compassion now more than ever, to find the unity we need now. I'll never cease to be a champion, an ally, a spotlight, and a loving voice for all LGBTQ identifying people. Whatever your sexuality, your gender, your preferred pronouns blossom to be, we all know it ain't so black and white. And I will continue to champion the people that have been a champion for me. Many friends and loved ones from the LGBTQ family have raised me into the woman I am today. And I want to dedicate this award to one of my greatest champions of my life, my manager, Bradford Elton Cobb III. I think it's almost been like 15 years, because he believed in me before it all, secretly paying my rent for years and bringing me leftovers from Hamburger Scaries. He really did. I know we really connected on a soul level, though, because we came from the same upbringing where it was difficult to be our authentic selves. We had similar struggles breaking out of our suppressive shells, but we kept inspiring each other, challenging each other, and retiring our past frame of mind. We broke the cycle, and now we're living our best, most authentic lives. I love you, B. Cobb. There will be obstacles, but we all know everything good takes work. But we can't let our past get in the way of our brilliant future. These days, I get an incomparable high from finally knowing myself, and it feels more real than any story I was ever told on a felt board. It feels sparkly as fuck. And truth be told, I think a lot of that has to do with the magic that has rubbed off on me from all of you. Thank you so much.